Hey everybody, this is Trainer Christy here, coming at you from Portland, Oregon, from my garage. I wanted to take you today through a 20 to 30 minute mobility workout. So we're going to work a lot of mobility drills today. Maybe some are going to be familiar, some might be new. What you need for this workout is your body and just a small amount of space. A yoga mat or some sort of padded surface will probably be best, even if it's just a towel or a cushy carpet of some sort. We are going to be spending time on the ground and kneeling on the ground, so it will be good to have at least a little bit of padding underneath you. Otherwise, that's it. We're going to go through a little flow here. Starting with 8 different mobility exercises. I will lead you through those one at a time. We'll spend 1 minute on each one and 1 minute per side of each one, working through really all those kinks and all those things. Lots of hip and back focus today. So we will go through all 8 of those. We'll finish up at the end after those 8 drills. We'll do a 5-minute flow at the end, just to run through a lot of some of the similar patterns and just to get you moving a little more actively. Should take probably 20 to 25 minutes here. Obviously you can add more time and continue this after we're done. You can do more on your own. If anything felt really good to repeat again, do that again. So that's what we're going to do. I'll get going here in just a second. We're going to start with our first number 1, cat-cow, probably something a lot of people have done before. So get yourselves ready. We're coming down onto our hands and knees for cat-cow. I'm going to start my timer here so I know when to start and when to stop. I'll start it up here and I'll tell you as we go along what we're going to do next. So cat-cow, we're on our hands and knees. We're going to go for 1 minute working through this pattern. We're going to tuck our tailbone, push into the ground, and make that cat pose. And we're going to sink down, let go of our tailbone, looking up at the sky. Belly button's going to drop down to the ground. And as you're doing this, go nice and slow and really try to get as much as you can out of each position, really pushing through the motion. Getting your breath with it as well. We're going to breathe in, breathe out as you move. Doing what feels good. I just got a couple pops. I felt pretty good. And just keep going 1 minute here. Really see how far you can take it safely, obviously. If anything starts to hurt, go ahead and back off. Do what you can. All right, that was your minute there. We're gonna go into a second thing, which is gonna be a puppy pose, reach through. So puppy pose, butt in the air, forehead down. So we're like this. We're gonna take one hand, reach it underneath our body through to the other side. Drop your forehead back to the ground. So I've got my butt in the air, forehead down, reaching underneath one side. Really reach across. You should feel a big stretch through your mid back here. Maybe in between your shoulder blades, kind of depends where your tension is. Now we're just gonna hang out. We got a minute. As you relax into this, try to reach a little further, keeping the butt up. One hand is out here straight in front of you. So I'm actually getting a stretch through this side as well by reaching out above my head. And again, just hang out, try to relax, take some big breaths. And we're gonna hold this for the minute before we go to the other side. We'll get that other side in just a second. All right, slowly coming out of that. You can come back to puppy. And we're gonna go the other way. So we're gonna reach underneath, other way. Again, as you relax into this, reach further. Big deep breaths in and out. I'm gonna reach again here. This side for me feels a lot tighter. It's totally fine. If you have one side that is tighter than another on any of these, that's normal. Keep going. All right, now that nice and slow. We're going on to our next thing, which is a child's pose with rotation. So child's pose, we're in our puppy. Drop your butt down to your heels. From here, I'm gonna lift my head, one hand behind my ear, and I'm gonna rotate here. So my butt's resting back on my heels. If that is not a possibility for you, if you're a little tight, you can come up a little higher. But what we're trying to go for here is the rotation. So if you're tight, come up higher, your butt can be up in the air, and you're rotating. One hand behind the ear, one hand out in front, getting that rotation through the mid-back. If you can, drop your butt further down and keep rotating. Lots of options here. Do what feels best for your body. This should be hard, right? This should feel like, wow, I'm pretty tight, right? My mid-back, I've really got to reach and stretch here. Why we do this in child's pose, why we do this in this pose is to take our hips out of the equation. Good, finish that one, and we're going to switch sides. So by coming down here and locking our hips down in place, when we rotate, our hips can't help, right? So my hips are locked in place and I'm having to rotate just with my back. That's why it feels hard. Again, we're doing the other side. Side to side differences, again, totally fine. Bringing your butt down to your heels, holding that child's pose position, kind of. If you're tight, you can come up a little higher. We want to lock those hips in place so we're not rotating through the hips, we're rotating through the back. Back is going to feel so good after this session. I'm going to work out a lot of kinks from sitting around, working out some stress. Take your time with these two. Go as fast or as slow as you want. All right, good. We're going to come up to a half kneeling position and pretty much do about the same thing. So half kneeling, we're going to go one knee down, one knee up, 90 degrees, hands behind the head, and we're going to rotate. So you're going to rotate away from the leg that's out in front. I'm going to rotate towards that open space. And as I'm holding this half kneeling position, I'm squeezing my glutes, sitting up nice and tall, and I'm pushing that rotation as much as I can, keeping my tall position and keeping that squeeze going in my glutes. Good. Breathe as you do this. Don't hold your breath. I like to breathe out, especially as I get to this spot where I want to stop. If I breathe out a little bit, sometimes I can push a little more. Good. All right, we're going to go to the other side. So we're going to switch which leg is in front. Again, 90-degree angle, the knees, tall posture, squeeze your butt, glutes are engaged, and we're rotating away into that space, right? So we're not rotating over the front leg, we're rotating away the other way. Good. Again, tall posture, activating those glutes. You may be getting a stretch in your hip flexor as well, right here in front. That's fine. We're going to focus on those hip flexors in just a bit. Your shoulders relaxed away from the ears. Try not to shrug. Try not to shrug up as you do this. Shoulders are down and back, and we're rotating from that back, from the mid-back. Working that T-spine. Hips are locked in place. We're almost there. Good. All right. Another hip exercise, we're going to 90-90 glutes. So we're going to come into a 90-90 position. 90 degrees here, 90 degrees here. And basically I want you to use this minute, holding that position, 90-90, to just walk your hands out and away from you around in a nice semicircle fashion. So I'm just holding 90-degree angles at this hip, or sorry, knee and this knee, hanging out here, but I'm gonna walk my hands around. So again, my hips are in place and I'm moving around them. I'm gonna walk around, drawing that semicircle all the way around. I have a nice tall spine. You can kind of pause in places that feel like, well, you need a stretch there. Like I need a stretch right here. And then I get up here, definitely feel it. So we're just walking around, getting different areas of that hip. Take your time, do whatever you need to do, as fast or as slow. Good. Okay, we're gonna go to the other side. So I'm gonna flip around, 90-90 position on this side. 90 degrees, 90 degrees. Hands out and away and I'm walking. So my lower body is just hanging out as I walk around in that semicircle. I'll hop over my foot here. Feels pretty good right here. I'm gonna hold it for just a second. Maintaining that 90-degree angle at the knees, walking it around. Really important here to stay tall. So try not to slouch. Pick up your head, hold it high, and walk in those circles. You should feel this working this front leg a lot. Maybe a little bit in the groin. Combined with all the rotation we just did at the back, it feels pretty good. Almost there, just about 6 more seconds, getting those walks. All right, so that was a little more glute focus. So we're gonna go back to our half kneeling position for the next one, which is gonna be a hip flexor stretch. So half kneeling, 9 degrees in front, we're gonna stretch right here. We're not gonna dive forward, we're going to stay here, squeeze the butt, tuck the tailbone, and reach up and over. And you can come in and out of that as you want to. So I'm really squeezing the glutes is gonna get your hips in a better spot for this. I'm gonna face you a little bit more. So I'm squeezing, I'm reaching up and over, getting a nice big stretch all the way through the side down into the hip flexor. If you don't feel it stretching here in the front of your hip, you can try to rotate a little bit more and lean back a little bit more. Sometimes leaning back away feels a little bit better in that hip flexor as opposed to straight around. So kind of play with this one. Squeeze the butt. If you need to, lean back a little more. You got a little more stretch when I lean back. All right, we're gonna do the other side. Switching, half kneeling position. Squeeze your butt, tuck your tailbone. Staying upright, reach up and over. Good, so on this side I feel it more stretching my obliques, which is great, but I want to get a little deeper, so I'm going to dip back a little bit more. I didn't go very far, I went like 2 inches, leaning back, and I got more stretch right here in the front of the hip. So again, I went over to the side and dipped back a little bit. I'm still squeezing my butt. I'm engaging those glutes the whole time. Glutes are getting a little bit of a workout here, but now I'm getting the stretch more in the front of my hip as opposed to through my side. Just do these little wiggle around and find your spot that feels good. Again, you can hold it, come out of it, go back in. When you're breathing. All right, so those are your hip flexors. We're gonna go back into a quadruped position, which is this, right? Hands and knees. Kick one leg out straight. So we've got one leg out, hands, knee on the ground, and I'm gonna rock back. Butt to heel, and then come back. Butt to heel, and then come back. So this adductor, inner thigh, that's what we're going for here to stretch. So this leg is all the way straight. I'm kicking it out a little further so I get a little more stretch. And you should be feeling that stretch in that adductor. So this is your adductor rock. So we're rocking back, butt to heel, and then come up. If you have a tight groin, this is gonna feel awful, but also great. So keep going. Remember this leg all the way straight, leg that's kicked out. All right, nice. Slowly bring that back in. Don't go too fast. We're gonna switch sides. I'm gonna flip around for you. So all fours. Kick that leg straight out, nice and straight here. And we're rocking butt to heel and back. If you're not feeling much here, and you want to add a little extra spice, when you rock your butt back to your hip, go ahead and rotate and point your toe to the sky. Come back and up. You can do this with your foot flat or rotate. You could even do a little reach touch if you want. Again, we're not trying to get the most extreme stretch, just a medium stretch. We don't want to be freaking out too much with any of these. Go nice and slow. Do what you need to do. Rock your butt back and bring it up. Add in a little movement with the foot if you want. All right, that's that. Really slowly bring it back in. Don't go too fast. We've got one more. We're gonna do a half kneeling hamstring rotation. So, half kneeling position. This front leg is gonna straighten out, and we're gonna do that by dipping back, hands, fingertips to the ground, and come up back to half kneeling. I'm gonna dip my butt back to my back heel, and I'm gonna straighten out this front leg. And it's okay here if your back gets a little bit bent here in the mid back, that's okay. We're trying to work this hamstring here. So I'm letting my fingertips fall to the ground. I'm holding myself a little bit. Good, and I'm coming back to that half kneeling, butt back to heel. I'm lifting my toe, and then coming back. I'm gonna straighten, fingertips to the ground, and back. So it really depends how tight you are in your hamstring. If you're really tight and you can't reach the ground, that's fine. We're just going through this range of motion. Good. We're gonna do the other side. So, switch sides, half kneeling, standing up tall to start. We're gonna dip a butt back. I'm gonna straighten my leg out a little bit here. There we go. And then come back. Good, so we're just rocking our butt back. Toe comes up. I have pretty tight hamstrings, so when I do this, I'm not actually straightening my leg all the way out. I have a little bit of bend in my knee still, and I'm stopping there because I'm tight. I don't want to force it here. I'm just going back and forth, lightly loosening up that muscle. So again, if you're tight, that's okay. Do what you can, get that little stretch, hold it for a couple seconds, and then come out of it. If you're really flexible and you want to dip way far down and bring your butt all the way down to your heel, and you want to, like, you know, reach with both hands, that's cool. Good for you. Going to dip back, toe up. Good. Nice. All right, that was our last drill. So that was 8 different drills here. If any of those felt particularly bad or /awesome, go back to them, right? If something felt really tight and you're like, wow, I should work on this a little bit more, take a minute now, pause the video if you want to repeat those exercises, or go back to them, repeat again, do another minute of anything that felt really tight. I always like to say really bad, which means you probably do need to do another minute. But if you're ready to move on, we're gonna finish up today's workout with this 5-minute flow. So I'm gonna be going through the flow nice and slow, leading you through the different movements. A lot of them will be very familiar from what we just did. We're just gonna go through it straight through 5 minutes. You're gonna go as fast or as slow as you want. You don't necessarily have to follow along with me once you get the flow down. So we're gonna do that. I'll set my timer for 5 minutes. We're gonna stand up, and the first thing we're going to do is just hinge down and walk out to a plank position. So here we go, starting 5 minutes. I'll go nice and slow, follow along. So I've got my feet about hip width apart, hinging down, getting that nice hamstring stretch. Walk it out to plank. And I'm gonna lower all the way down to the ground, nice and slow. I'm gonna pick up my hands, and I'm gonna squeeze my shoulder blades together. I'm gonna squeeze my butt. I'm gonna lift my feet just a little bit here. Activate that posterior chain. Nice, and I'm going to relax that. I'm gonna push back up to plank. You can use your knees if you want here. Come up to your knees, and then up to plank, that's fine. First thing I'm gonna do, push back into a downward dog. Get your ears in between your arms. I'm gonna step my right foot forward, and I'm in this big Spider-Man lunge position. From here, I'm gonna kind of play around with my hips. I'm gonna do little circles here. One hand on my knee here if I want. Circling around. If you would like to drop your back knee down to do these circles, that's fine. So again, back knee can be down, could be up, whatever you wanna do. We're gonna pause with the circles. I'm gonna take my right hand. I'm gonna rotate to the sky. I'm gonna do that 2 times. 1, 2. And I'm gonna rotate my elbow down to the ground. Right elbow to the ground, so you're in step. If you can't reach the ground, touch your shin. You can touch your shin, come back up, rotate, touch your shin. That's good. From here, I'm gonna come back up. Foot's gonna go back. We're gonna sink back to downward dog. We're gonna go to the other side. Left foot forward. From here, I'm gonna play around here. I'm gonna do those little hip circles, like I'm drawing a circle or I'm drawing letters with my hips. You can put your knee down if you want. If that feels better, that's fine. Draw those circles. And we're gonna take the left hand, rotate up, really reach for the ceiling. Come back down. Let's do one more reach. Rotate up. Good. We're going to do the opposite now. We're going to reach our elbow down towards the ground. Good. We're going to do 2 here. Reach your elbow. Touch wherever, have the lowest point you can touch. Come up. Good. Hang there for a second if you want. Hands back on the ground. We're going to push back to downward dog. And let's walk our hands back to our feet. Hang for a second, get those hamstrings, stand up. Let's do it again. So I'm gonna go down, we've done the pattern. I'm gonna go just a tiny bit faster through this time. Walk it out, lower to the ground, lift the hands, squeeze the shoulder, squeeze the butt, hold it for a couple seconds, hands down, relax, push back to plank, downward dog, right foot forward. Do your circles with your hips, draw your letters, your initials, your name, whatever. Good. Right hand rotate, up, back down, 2, back down, rotate your elbow to the ground, to the lowest point you can reach. Elbow reaches down and up, good. Hands on the ground, push that right foot back, downward dog. Left foot forward, reach forward, good. Do your hip circles, letters, just rocking around. Good, left hand's gonna come up and rotate, reach. I'm gonna drop my knee here on this side. You can have your knee up or down. 2 reaches up, and then elbow to the ground. Or elbow to your ankle, wherever you can reach. Good, hand back down, we're pushing back to downward dog. Then we're gonna walk it back to our feet. And stand. Whoo, let's do it again. Hinge it down. Walk it out. Lower to the ground. Hands up. squeezing everything, back, shoulders, butt. Push back up to plank. Downward dog. Right foot forward. Do your circles. Reach the right hand up. Good. Well, that's been 5 minutes. I'm going to finish this side here with you. Elbow to the ground. 2 times. Hand down. Good. We're going to push back to downward dog. Why not just do the other side with me here? Even though it's been 5 minutes, we'll go 1 more minute extra. Left foot forward. Draw your letters, draw your circles, rock around. Find those spots in your hips. Good. Left hand's gonna reach up. Back down. Jump. Back down. Good. Elbow, left elbow is coming down. As low as you can get it. Really reach that elbow down and across your body. Nice. Hand back on the ground. We're going to bring our left foot back. Downward dog. And we're going to walk our hands back to our feet. Get that last hamstring stretch. And slowly come to standing. All right, shake it out a little bit. Do a little wiggle. Nice. Muscles might feel a little like tight a little bit after that flow because we were asking a lot from our hips. That's totally fine. I recommend moving around a little bit. Do some squats maybe, do some lunges, do some jumping jacks. Just some easy movement to shake out all that mobility work we did. Go on a little walk if you want. Run around up and down your stairs. But that is your mobility for the day. I hope you learned something new. Hope something in your body is feeling more loose, more open after doing some of those. Again, please feel free at this point to go back and repeat anything that you particularly loved or that your body needs more of. Go ahead and do that. And I will list out these exercises if that is helpful for on the page here so that you can see the names of them if that helps you remember them better. Anyways, it was awesome to do a little mobility with you today, and I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day. We'll see you later.